Hi, PS261. Now we are in Module 4. I always recommend clicking on that Welcome to Module 4, but let's just get right into it. For the discussion this week, you guys are making a survey on your topic. So first read your chapters, and you can use this survey template to create your survey. So you're going to add 3 to 5 questions. I mean, let's be honest, it's probably 3, but maybe not. Using what you read in the book on pages 132 to 131. So make sure that they're good questions. That's what I'm trying to say. And then when you click on that survey, you can see that you want to click on duplicate it first. And when you duplicate it, you'll be able to make your title, resilience survey or whatever the survey is about resilience. And then I put an informed consent sample here, but you want to say whatever this would be. Like, I want to examine factors related to resilience among college students or whatever it would be. And then you're going to be asked maybe 3 questions about resilience. This will take about 5 minutes. The survey asks you about resilience. You might not even need to repeat that because you just said that. And then the benefits are that your data will contribute to the growing body of research examining resilience, the risks. I mean, don't ask risky questions. Please don't, because we're not really running this through the IRB. And guys, just remember that in this discussion this week, you guys will be answering each other's surveys, but you don't have to answer any questions that you don't feel comfortable answering. If your fellow students have asked weird questions, just leave it alone. Don't answer it. And then you can see that, leave this part alone. I wish to participate. Leave that alone, because this is how you either, get kicked to the end of the survey if you say no, or to participate, you would click on yes. And then this, in section 2, that's where you would add your questions. So if you did add a new question, it would probably be a choice. Or you might do add new question, and it's like a Likert scale from strongly disagree all the way up to agree. Something like that. Or you're asking, I don't know, which of these parenting styles, authoritative, authoritarian, which parenting style do you have? But this will depend. Or maybe it's are you an athlete or not? Something like that. So you guys are adding your questions in there. Yes, okay, so we're creating a survey with 3 to 5 questions. And then in the discussion, you are saying, list your questions and provide a link to the survey. And to do that, you would go into, I have to say I have multiple, yeah, okay. So you would collect responses, anyone can respond. Make sure that this doesn't say record name. It shouldn't be set up that way. Just make sure that it says anyone can respond, and then copy link. And it tells you right here how many minutes it takes to complete the form, just so you know. And then you would copy the link, and that's what you're putting in the survey. So there's your link to the survey. Say how you use those topics to create good questions. Say which of the responses to questions on pages 131 to 134 applies to your questions in particular. And then if only everybody in the class responded to your survey, what kind of sample would you have? This is just double checking that you're reading this stuff. Yep. And then the other thing in Module 4 is I'm asking you to take this survey that I made and then explain what type of sample the researchers would have if they only used the students in this course for this survey. Talk about how social desirability might impact the responses. That's from our book. And would your answers have changed if this had been an interview? So explain why or why not. And our book talks about social desirability. And then for your own survey, what type of design did you have? And then what test would you use to analyze these questions? And our book at the end talks about different tests. So take a look at that. And I mean, essentially, I don't know. Essentially, if you have, like, if you're just asking questions of people and you haven't manipulated anything, then you have some sort of correlation or chi-square. If you did randomly assign people to groups, then you would have an experiment. And this question is asking you, like, a t-test uses just 2 groups. Like, it would just be like, say, I don't know, like a pre-test and a post-test. Or it might be like, I don't know, I did some sort of experimental manipulation for one group and not for the control group. And ANOVA has more than 2 experimental groups. So an ANOVA would have like a control group, but then it would have like maybe this amount of one drug in one group and a greater amount of a drug in another group, something like that. So an ANOVA has more than 2 groups. So you can review that in the appendix, or if you've taken like stats before, you might remember that. And this is really, I'm just trying to make sure that when you write your APA paper, that you are writing it correctly. That's what I'm trying to do here. So using your survey that you made, what type of design did you have and what test would you use? So this is just making sure. I'm going to give you feedback on this so that you don't get that final paper wrong, so pay attention to my feedback on this. And you can always preview the rubric, but you can see that I'm saying, did you address everything, like all the 5 questions? Is the information accurate? And that's where it might not be. You know what I mean? But that will be good, because then I can tell you later on, like, that your answers will be correct for your final paper. And then just make sure that you're supporting your information that you're saying using what we read in the book. So say, like, in the appendix it said blah, blah, blah about a t-test, and that's why I think it's a t-test. Reach out if you have any questions, though.